Hi guys, hi everybody. My name is Awana. I'm at Paint Lab in Santa Monica. It's a small art studio that's open to the public. We have classes so we can teach you how to paint and draw. And so today we're going to work on this heart quadrant painting. I will guide you through, we'll play with some colors, we'll experiment with mixing, and hopefully you'll have a nice time. And also, maybe think about somebody that you love when you're painting this, and it's your heart for them. So the couple basics that we'll need to get the painting going is you'll need a canvas. Mine is a canvas panel. It's 12 inches by 12 inches, and you'll need some acrylic paints for this one. Starting with a palette that has all the primary colors and secondary colors. So primaries are blue, yellow, and red. Secondaries are green, purple, and orange. Then you've got your black to make things darker and your white to lighten things up. We've also got a couple of brushes here. We've got a large, medium, and a detail fine brush. We've got a cup of water to keep my brushes clean in between the colors. And then some paper towels, just so we can dry our brushes in between. So I'm going to use a dry brush technique, so we're not really going to water down our paints. Acrylics are water soluble, and they will clean out with water as well. So the water we're going to use to clean out in between colors. And you always want to keep your brushes, when you're not using them in the paint, keep them clean, keep them wet. Don't let the paint dry on them, because if the paint dries on them, then those brushes are no good anymore. Okay. All right. So the first thing we want to do is see how this is like broken into 4 sections. We want to give ourselves those guidelines for when we're painting the image. So grab your smallest brush that you have, and let's go with the yellow color. It's a pretty light color, but we'll be able to see it on the canvas. So I'm going to dip into the yellow color and then just mark the halfway point of each place. And then go ahead and draw a line across. Yeah. And then a line up. So now we know where things are going to connect, where the different colors are going to connect. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the water and let it stay wet. And let's go with the wide brush. So the beauty of this painting is that, it's really just an experimentation, and you're playing with the colors that you have. So this particular heart is red. It's 4 different shades of red where they connect, in between, and there's gradations as well of color going on in there. And then the background that I have, I've got blue and green. We can mix these colors up to something else. So like if you want to have, pink on the outside, or you want to have orange, or this is where you get a chance to like sort of play and experiment with that. But we'll start with doing the red first. And it's basically we're drawing the heart on there. We don't want to use, let's not use pure red. You can, but we can also just mix it, start mixing and playing with the colors now with that. So, and I'm going to go quarter by quarter by quarter by quarter to do this. So take your white brush, get the red, okay, and then just mix a little bit like of yellow in it, for example. We're toning this down and getting a slightly different shade of red going on. See, it becomes yellow and red gives you orange. So I'm going to teach you actually how to mix all of these secondary colors too, while you're learning about the different shades and mixing colors. So with this color now, I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to start in the left side here. I'm going to start drawing the heart. I want it to come to a point here, and then I want it to come out to about here. And now I'm going to gently connect those lines. and fill it in. So go ahead and fill that in all the way down the line here. See how I'm using the edge of my brush to apply the paint? It gives you nice control to do that. And go ahead and fill it in. Okay, so now we've got a base color here. And what you can do is now, as I was saying, that you can lighten and darken with white and black. So I want to make the bottom of this heart a little bit darker. So I will I'm just going to dip the edge of my paintbrush into the black here a little bit and add that on here. And you've got to be very controlled with that so you don't get too much. See how that, we're adding that in there, blending it. Blend that in there. While the paint is still wet on your canvas. Okay. It's pretty subtle. And then I haven't cleaned out my brush. I'm going to dip into the white. And let's start to do a little bit of white as well on the top there. Just adding a highlight, if you will. And I'm not trying to match this heart at all. I'm just making a new heart, right? We're expressing ourselves through this color. So we've done this particular project on Mother's Day. We've done it for Valentine's Day. It's kind of a fun activity to do. You know, you can even do it with your family. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with this quadrant, laying it out. And now I want to move into the opposite quadrant over here. Actually, I'm taking that back. I want to move into this side here and mirror this on the other side. But this one, I think I want to go with a little bit more of a purple. So with that red, I'm now going to add a little bit of blue into it to make it more of a purple heart. I haven't cleaned my brush out. And now with this color, I'm going to start, dab where I want to end up, and then go ahead and draw that in. Connect the two. Let's see, it's a little bit lower on this side. And fill that in and see where they connect, where the two hearts connect. Just be mindful, and you can drag your paintbrush across. Get that line as straight as you can, where it will connect with the bottom quadrant of the heart. Okay. Let's see. That looks bad. I need to take a look at that. See what we've got going so far. To me, it looks like I have to look at it straight on, sorry. They're not quite the same, so I need to bring this out a little bit further. There we go. Make sure you're looking at this straight on so you can really see the proportions of your heart. All right. That's better. Okay, so let's go and add a little bit of white as well up here. Just, again, dabbing the brush into the white. adding it on there while it's still wet so we can get a nice lighter color here on the edges, the top edge of this heart. See how that's blending in and lightening up the color? And then now I want to get rid of some of this white that's on here, so I'm just going to take my paper towel and get some of that, loose paint that's on there off of it. So then I can dip into the black and make the bottom of this a little bit darker. You add that on there and blend it in. Make sure you're touching the two reds. So here we gave it a little bit more weight with the dark to light transition. So a little history about Paint Lab. We opened in 2009, and we were on Main Street in Santa Monica. And this was just an idea I had of, how do we get art into more people's lives and make it accessible to people. So we opened our doors in 2009, and here we are 11 years later, still teaching art, and the smiles on people's faces. It's just a great experience. Okay, so let me now clean this off because I'm a little bit dark here. So I'm going to wash this brush in the water. And then make sure you dry it off on the paper towel. And let's get into a different shade of red over here. So we mixed a little bit of yellow into the red for this one. And here we went a little bit of blue to make it more purple. Those are your primary colors. So why don't we go with, again, keeping in the orange, but shift it even a little bit more. So get that red and then grab some more yellow. There we go. See how this orange that I mixed is still yet a darker and more reddish color than the orange that came out of the bottle. So now I will figure out where I want to end up down here and connect that with the other line. And go ahead and fill that in. And again, just drag the brush carefully here where the two colors connect, getting a straight line. The corner here is a little tricky, but you can do it. I mean, I'm just doing it with the flat edge of my brush here. Let me bring that closer so you could see. So literally with the corner of the brush. And fill that in with your color. Go down the line that you drew with the yellow and fill it in. Just nice to, nice smooth line there. And let's get a little shading going here. What we can do is maybe add the dark here so that it becomes like a dark center of the heart, and then lightens up down here. So let's start with the lighter version, with the light color first at the bottom, dipping the same brush into the white, and then adding the white in there to blend it. This is nice when you can work with the acrylics directly on the canvas to blend those colors in. And my brush has pretty soft bristles here, so that makes the paint go on very smoothly. Okay, that's about good right there. And then again, I want to dry this off, get some of that white off. So I just brush that off, and now I'm going to dip into the black paint a little bit and start up here with the black. Blend that in. Seems a little darker than I wanted, so I'm going to go back into that orange mixture that I had and scoop some of that up and lay it on top of that. See how that mixes in, getting back into the orange color, but it's a darker orange. There we go. A little gradation. I kind of like to see the brush strokes in there too. I don't mind that there's a little bit of movement in there. All right. So there's that quadrant of the heart. And for this one, let's get back into another bit more purple. So let's wash the brush out again. Dry it off. And then let's get that red and a little bit of blue again. So red and blue. And this time, just to make it a little bit different and teach you a little bit different technique of mixing, I'm going to add a little bit of white in that mix, and just so I'm getting the shade of purple a little bit lighter to begin with. See how that's coming out, and it's a reddish purple. Right? And let's go ahead and apply that. Again, connecting the dots, right? We have this point here, and then we have this point here. And draw that straight line across, and go ahead and fill in your quadrant. All right, so we've got this filled in now. And again, I'm going to do the light at the bottom and the dark at the top. So let's dip into more white here and add it to the bottom here, blend it into that existing color to make it a little bit lighter. I don't really mind the brush strokes, but if you keep working it, it'll get smoother and smoother. The color will get more homogeneous, blended in. There we go. That's about right for that. I'm going to dry off this brush so I can get the white off. And then dip into the black. I don't want a whole lot of black. So here we're now going to add the black at the top of that quadrant. And blend it down. There we go. A little ombre look. Okay, drying off my brush. I'm actually going to wash my brush right now. And then I'm going to dry it off real well. I want to see if I can adjust here where it's a little bit harsh. I'm just using that brush to blend those colors again. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. So here's our heart. Cool. Not bad, not bad. All right. Let's talk about the outside now, or background. Go ahead and wash your brush. Get that nice and clean. And dry it off. By the way, here's what my paper towel has been looking like when I dry it off. And there's complementary colors that work. They're across the way from each other on the color wheel. So across the way from red is green, and across the way from blue is orange. Across the way from yellow is purple. So I'd like to play with maybe shifting, these two areas are very red. We're going to try the green in this area. So you'll see how the red and green look next to each other. And these guys are more purple. So I'd like to try for a yellow background here. So we're going to go green here and yellow here. And vary the shades. We can always like mix our colors more specifically. It's not going to be a pure green or a pure yellow. Let's start with our greens first. So we'll do the upper left and lower right. So let's start with the green that we have squeezed out here. And let's shift a little bit more blue. So it's a little bit more of a blue green. Add some blue into that. That's kind of a pretty color. I like it. And go ahead and start filling that quadrant in. Where the colors touch, you'll have to be careful. Again, drag your brush with the color in there. And follow that line. By the way, if you're enjoying this class, we have lots and lots more classes for kids and for adults on our website. So take a look at that. It's paintlab.net. And they're usually interactive, so we can answer your questions if you have trouble as you're going along. We teach you lots of different things. We have drawing classes, we have painting classes, we get a lot of inspiration from the masters. So we might have a class, doing a step-by-step inspired by Monet, like the lilies over the bridge or under the bridge, and Van Gogh is one of our, big guys that we're inspired by. Anyhow, go ahead and apply this paint to the corner, upper left corner. And see how the colors play off of each other, the red and the green. They're kind of vibrant. Isn't that funny that these are also Christmas colors? I wonder if that was intentional. So get in there. If you feel more comfortable using your fine tipped brush, your skinny brush for this, where these things intersect, feel free to switch over to the skinny brush. But I like using the wide brush and just dragging it. I feel like I get a lot of control with this technique. And what I want to do next is go ahead and play with some stuff here now. Let's play with adding a little bit more, adding a little bit more blue. And I want to go in the upper corner here. So I touched the blue and I brought it over here and just kind of mixing it a little bit. I like to see the brush strokes, keep it a little more loose and abstract and impressionistic here. So I'm just kind of dabbing it on and blending in that upper corner. There we go. You can be playful with this. Just whatever kind of mood you're in and what you're inspired with. And now I want to add some white a little bit closer to the heart. So I'm going to touch the white and actually mix it a little bit, because we need a lot of control when we get in there. So now again with the edge of the brush, go in there. And sort of do an outline. Kind of getting a halo effect around this heart with the white. There we go. And you can drag it out with the brush. That's pretty cool, I like that. That's pretty neat. I like that a lot. All right, so let's now go to this other lower right-hand corner, which is also going to be green. I'm going to keep it in that same world. Now I want to shift the green and play with a little bit of yellow. So let's clean the brush out and get a nice clean brush and dry it off. So let's get that green and put some out in the middle of the palette here. Add some yellow. See how we've now shifted it to a more yellow-green here. I'm happy with that color, and I'm going to start applying it. So I do a lot of my color mixing, directly on the canvas to adjust it. I'll mix the base color in the palette, and then after that, add and adjust and push and pull it on the canvas directly. So for the palette, you can use a paper plate. You can use, I've got a palette paper and a butcher tray here, but paper plate is just fine. So easy. There's a lot more canvas to cover in the lower quadrant with this green paint. Again, I'm just using the edge of the brush, just dragging it down to control the paint and the application. All right, now I want to get the outer edge a bit darker and the inner edge a bit lighter. So let's start with the lighter version, lighter color, and get some white going on this paintbrush to add it in. Okay, so adding a little white on my brush, mixing it in, and then coming over to the edge of that heart. Go ahead and apply it, and then you can drag it out like we did up there in the upper quadrant. Just drag it out. It's a glowing heart. Cool. That's neat. Oh my gosh, do you see how the red and the green are kind of vibrating off of each other, it seems like. Let me get that a little bit closer to you so you can see. See that red and green? How the colors are just playing off of each other. Okay, so cleaning off the brush. And then I'm going to dip back into that green that we had there, that yellow green that we mixed. Add a little black. Not much black, a little black. This should be still wet down here in the corner. And so we can add that on there and get it darker. Just give it some visual weight. So the darker colors give your painting visual weight. You can also use it to create shadows and that kind of thing. So I'm just kind of, dabbing it on here and letting it have a little bit of movement, which when this paint dries, you'll have all those kind of like brush strokes and kind of movement in that part of the painting, which is kind of cool. A little impressionistic, abstract-y kind of interest, visual interest. Need a little more black here. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I like that. A little more black. We want to give it some good weight down here. Sweet. Well, that's pretty cool. I like it. Okay, clean your brush out. Now we're going to move on to the next color. We talked about going with a little bit of yellow, a yellow tone to these two. This one's already a little bit, has a yellow green, so let's keep this, let's see. I think we'll do this corner, we'll do more yellow green, so it's kind of yellow with a little bit of blue in it, right? Let's play, let's experiment. Let's get some yellow going. And I had a little bit of green already on there. See how the color is shifting to slightly greenish yellow. And I kind of like that, but I want to add some white to it, make it a little bit lighter. How cool is that? That's fun. Okay, let's apply that. And get that nice and close, get that edge. By the way, we've been working around the painting so that we're letting parts of the painting dry while we're working on other parts. And if for some reason your edge hadn't been perfectly straight before, you can, adjust for that with this new color that you're laying on top of it. Try not to leave any white left of canvas. And again, you can adjust these colors if you don't want to do a yellow background, you can pick something else. It's all up to you. It's all up to your preference right now. And your mood and your feeling. All right, so I've got my yellow. And let's adjust this color too a little bit. Let's get some more. Okay, I'm good with that. Let's get some white on the brush and get that close to the edge. And get our little halo going. So the yellow is already a pretty light color, so it's not going to read as prominently when we add this white to it. That's okay. We had mixed it with white before. So now what I want to do is get some pure yellow, and so this is a little bit darker, and put that in between here. See how that's showing up as a little bit darker in the center there? And then to get it a little bit darker, I'm going to go with a little bit of red in it. So we're going to go a little bit more orange with that color. So let's see, I had a little bit of red here, and go into the corner because black is going to probably turn it green. I know that sounds strange, but adding a little black to this would make it not a pretty color. So with the red, you get like a darkening of it without adding black. I'm going to refill my my paint here with a little more red. So tap the red and then come back in here to make it slightly darker. Fun, right? Get to play with how this paint applies to your canvas. There we go. That's pretty cool. All right, so washing the brush, and then let's figure out how do we want to shift this. Why don't we go with some yellow, and let's go with the orange. So grab your yellow, put a little bit of red in it. Okay. See if we like this color. Yeah, let's start with this color. It's sort of like it looks like a dark yellow. Let's do that and apply it on there, and then we can play with shifting it from there to another dimension. So go ahead and apply that yellow-orange color to your canvas. Drag the brush around the outside of that heart. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to get into my skinny brush now, because now I'm at the end here. I've got a lot of tight places that need to be combined together. So thin brush it is with that color, just so I can get our connection points done. Get rid of all of that white that's there. Yeah, just be careful, take your time. Get into that nook and cranny situation there where the two colors connect. Okay, here we go. We are closer and closer to completing our project here with the heart. Oh, that's cool. I like that this is a darker orange kind of color. Okay, I'm done with my skinny brush, so I'm going to put it in the water, and I'm going back to the wide brush. I'm going to add some white, just like we did before. Add some white, go to the outside of that connection between the purple and the white. Drag it carefully. Actually, I'm going to tab, and drag. Look at that, how fun is that? I like this white halo on the darker yellow. I think that's really cool. All right. And then to make this area a little bit darker, let's add in a little bit of, take the, dry your brush off. I'm not going to clean it. I'm just going to take the white off of it. And let's get into a little bit of green. So touch the green and then get in here and try to blend that in real good. I have too much. I'm going to wipe some of it off. That's cool. If you don't want to use green, you can use a different color for sure. Maybe blue could be nice, but I'm going with this green. It's kind of fun. And blend it in. Cool. Very nice. Very nice indeed. I'm gonna add a little more yellow on top of that. Okay, so now you have your heart, you've got the background, you've got the heart, and what you can do now is, you know, if this project made you think of someone in particular that you love or that you miss, you can actually go ahead and, you know, add that person's name to the painting. For me, I think I'm going to use my sister. So, and I'm gonna do her name in white, right over here in the middle, because I miss her. Might be your mom, or dad, or your boyfriend. Who knows? You can put somebody's name on there. What a nice gift this could be too, if you want to give it to someone, a hand painted heart. My sister was Julia. That's where I'm going with this. I almost was going to leave it as a surprise, but all right, guys. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining me today with this painting lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. And, you know, again, tune in to come check us out, paintlab.net. We've got lots and lots of classes where we, you know, give you the art experience at home. We also have the studio that if you're in the Santa Monica area, you will please come and visit us, take a class with us here in person. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some valuable information out of this and that you'll come back and join us again. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.